Welcome to Game Fondue Reviews. In this video, we're going to take a look at Pit. Pit's an aggressive trading game in which players are trading rapidly to corner the market in one commodity. Let's jump right in with a description of the rules, see a few example turns being played, then I'll be back for some closing remarks.
This is Pit set up for a 3-player game. To set up, you just put the end of round signal in the middle of the table. In this version, of course, it's a bell, but in some versions, it's a piece of wood or something else. And then you choose one type of commodity per player. We're a 3-player game, so we chose 3 commodities, but there will be other commodities that will not be selected in your game, and you can see them. They're all different types of the same thing. Also, if you're playing the basic game, you leave out the bear and the bull card, but we'll describe that in more detail in a moment. After you select the commodities you're going to use, just shuffle them up and deal out the whole deck to all players. After the deck is dealt, give players a few moments to examine their hand, and then ultimately you're going to open the market. Play is going to proceed simultaneously, in which players are going to look at the cards in their hand and they're going to offer the same type of commodity in a group. So for instance, they may hold out 3 cards of corn face down so other people can't see and say 3, 3, 3, 3, and other people are going to be doing this as well. And you can trade with a player who's offering the same number of goods as you. So for instance, this guy's yelling 3, 3, 3, 3. Maybe this guy over here has 2 of the same good. He's yelling 2, 2, 2, and this guy says, okay, fine, how about 2? And then they can exchange. The only thing to be really mindful of is you cannot trade less than 1 or more than 4. So 1 to 4 goods is a perfectly legal trade, and they always have to be the same type. Gameplay continues until one player has 9 of the same cards in his or her hand, in which case they hit the bell and they're going to score points. So for instance, if this guy had 9 corn and he hit the bell first, he would get 75 points because that's the value on corn. If you're playing the short game, you play to 250 points, and the long game is to 500 points. And after the round is over, you just reshuffle the cards and deal them out again. If you'd like to, you can also play with the bull and bear cards, and they work a little bit differently. First thing to note is they'll always be shuffled into the deck, so 2 players are going to end up with 1 more card than everybody else. For trading purposes, the bull and bear are wild, and what I mean by that is, for instance, you could have 2 corn and have the bull in your hand and say 3, 3, 3, 3, or the bear, or any combination therein. But point being, they can be traded along with anything else or by themselves. The bull also counts as wild for scoring purposes. So if you had 8 corn in your hand and the bull, that would be the same as having 9 corn. So you'd still throw them down, hit the bell, and you would score the points as normal. However, if you're one of those players with the extra card in their hand and you have the bull and the 9 cards of the same type, so you had all 9 corn and the bull, you could hit the bell and score double the points. So that would be 150 points for that round. While the bull makes it easier to score in some circumstances, the bear makes it impossible. If you have the bear in your hand, even if you're one of the people with 10 cards, you cannot ever throw the cards down and hit the bell, even if you had the other 9 of the same type. It's also important to note that if you have the bull or the bear at the end of the round, you lose 20 points. That is, if you have the bull and you don't win, of course. If you win with the bull, you don't lose any points, but you can never win with the bear in your hand. That means if you have both of them in your hand at the end of the round, you're going to lose 40 points, so be careful of that. Let's get going with this example playthrough. Of course, normally the cards are for their owner's eyes only, but we're having them face up here to make it easy to see. So the round would start, and usually you'd start it by dinging the bell, and players would proceed all simultaneously. So he might go 1, 1, 1, 1, and this guy over here goes 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and this guy over here says 4, 4, 4, and this guy says, okay, 4, 4, 4, so they trade, and they look at what they got, and this guy got a whole bunch of corn, that guy got a whole bunch of wheat. This guy's kind of been left out at this point, so he's a little disappointed, but then he tries 3, 3, 3, 3, and this guy says, okay, 3, 3, 3, 3, and wow, this guy got all the corn right away, so he would hit the bell, ding it, and he would score 75 points, because that's what corn is worth. So you'd write that down, you'd shuffle them up, and you start a new round. Of course, with 3 players, there's not that many possibilities, but with a whole bunch of people, the rounds can go a lot longer than that.
One of the funniest things about this game is the expression you get when you teach it to somebody when you're describing that you just yell 2, 2, 3, 3, and they just kind of look at you like... But as they get into it, some people get really into this game. The game is intense, especially with a big group, like a group of 8. You got lots of people just screaming and yelling and banging things, and it's fun. I'm not too keen on the bull and the bear, especially with larger groups, because the minus points at the end of the round tend to make the game a bit longer, which... for this type of game, I kind of want, to get through it. Certainly some people really like them, and there is a little more consideration, a little more bluffing element to it. And it's neat to give somebody the bear and laugh at them. So that's fun. The game in general can go really well in family groups, but I think you know ahead of time if your group of people is somebody that's going to like this game. It's, more for the aggressive or the people that like to, during a game, bring out some of the aggressive. Some really shy people tend to not get into this game so much or to like it at all because it's a little bit uncomfortable for them because it really does favor people that are really in your face trying to make trades and get the game going. It plays fast though, and it's certainly fun for what it is. It's been around a long time. That's Pit. If it looks like one for you, check it out.